Treated water is life for any city, but in reality, most urban sewage treatment plants don't treat at all. I am Vishal Murarka, co-founder and managing director of Megaliter Varunaa. Our mission is simple: fix what's broken. So at Megaliter Varunaa, we take over dysfunctional STPs, that is sewage treatment plant, and which is polluting or discharging untreated wastewater to lakes and neighborhood. We take them, we repair them, upgrade them and operate them every single day. Communities don't pay upfront. We invest, we bring expertise, and they pay only monthly fee based on our performance. So I'll talk about my own personal experience. When there was COVID, in my society, which is like 400 apartments, everybody was home. So obviously the wastewater that was getting generated from these society apartments was very harsh, and it was not able to treat the volume of our own STP. So we had to live with a poor quality recycled water coming from the STPs. So then I kept thinking about, is there a way to solve this? And we did this first pilot project in my own apartment complex, and it's been running for 4 years now. So that made my resolve stronger, that okay, this will work, people will pay for it, and if we can own the life cycle right from the investment to operation and maintenance, people will pay for it, and that's where it all started. So here, if you have to understand how the sewage treatment plant is structured, so the capex is done by the builder or asset owner, whoever could be the case. Then the installation, the construction is done by a certain separate agency, and then after everything is finished, then it goes to the third agency. So these three people are different, they are doing their job, and end of the story. We are trying to tie up all of this and make it as a performance driven system versus ad hocism. That's where we bringing the change. So we are doing a business model innovation where we bring in the capital, we do the construction of these STPs, and then run it for a long-term contract. So we are tying up all of these three elements for a successful installation and running the plant. So as we see and how the world is moving, the population is increasing and the cities are becoming more and more denser than what it was in the past. Now when the people start to live more closer, larger societies are there, and if we send this untreated sewage to the lakes or the drainage system, then eventually it is going to either lakes or groundwater or to some poor communities who are forced to consume like contaminated water. I want to change that. I want to make sure that the communities treat their own waste and reuse it, and similarly so the load on the central infrastructure will reduce. So that's what we are trying to solve. So as I explained, Megaliter Varunaa is more like a business model innovation. The technology is fairly existing for a longer period of time. What we are doing is, we are bringing in the performance-based contracts as part of the whole ecosystem that we are trying to do. So what we are saying, we only get paid when we deliver the treated water. And that is the innovation that we are talking about, where we invest in the capex, so we own the asset. We do the whole engineering, so we own the whole design. Then we only do the operation and maintenance, so we own the day-to-day operation. So when I'm tying up all these three elements, I think is what is the differential between me and anybody else who is doing in the market today. So if I just quickly explain, like the water is going to come to the sewage treatment plant every single minute, right? If there are 10,000 people living in a society, So the water is getting generated and coming to the sewage treatment plant, and these plants are biological treatment plants. So they have live organism which is actually part of the process for treatment. So we cannot stop the plant. It has to run for 24/7, and that is how this whole process is designed. So as we explained that we are bringing in the capex. So when I'm saying if I'm bringing in the capital in the first place, so somebody has to fund it. So I can fund maybe one plant or two plants, but until I have a runway to fund these plants, I can't really scale up. And if I have a plan to do 100 plants over the next 5 years, I need more than 250 crore worth of capital. So without an external funder, I don't think we can really do our mission the way we are thinking. The most funny part about infrastructure, everybody talks about it, but when it comes to impact driven infrastructure growth, there is very few backers who could really support people like us who are trying to make a change. And I think that's where Navaka comes into play, where they would fund a company like us who's trying to make a change in that infrastructure, sustainability, and like on an impact driven type of a mission. I think when Navaka came on board and when we met them for the first time and when we tried to explain what we were doing, I think a couple of things stood out very clearly. One, the clarity with which they approached our company. That I think that was very good in terms of experience, because they understood what we were talking and they asked very relevant information and question what we can do. They took effort in terms of visiting our location where we had installed to see firsthand what we were doing. I think that was very powerful, because then actually seeing is believing. So I think the team took that initiative and they really came to sites and understood what we were doing. That's number two. Number three, I think the turnaround was very fast. So I think that is very important for companies like us, because when we are developing a project, we need capital and we can't just wait for 6 months or 1 year. So I think these are some of the very clear approach of Navaka which really stood out, because we talked to so many other bankers, but these approach really made a difference versus others we were talking to. When Navaka agreed to fund us, I think the major change I would talk about on my own personal self. I believed in what I was doing was right. I think that is the most important. Being an entrepreneur, we are always in self-doubt, but somebody was willing to bet on you. So I think that whole change of dimension in mindset of myself, my team, they believed, yeah, this can be done. So I think that is where I would say Navaka's first onboarding with us is a game changer for us as well. Today we are treating more than 8 million liters of wastewater on a daily basis. So we are talking about almost more than 2.5 billion liters a year. That is the impact we are creating today. If Navaka was not there, this wouldn't have started in the first place. So that is very important. So I want to give one very quick small number. So as per the studies, and these are many studies we have seen, out of 100 liters that anybody consumes, 45 liters can be reused for something like flushing, gardening, chiller application, and multitude of non-potable application. So 45 liters. As of today, that needle is at 8 liters, 8%, right? So what we are solving is, we are solving the gap between 45 liters and 8 liters, and take this 8 liter to, let's say, 45, as close as possible. So once we are able to do that, automatically the dependence on fresh water requirement will grow down substantially. And when it goes down substantially, then the other societies can benefit from that change that we are trying to bring. The future is more about just recycling. It's a lot about water credits, which we are now talking to many people who are willing to look at this as a water credit story, the way the world has seen the carbon credit story. So I think a lot of exciting things are there for us to do, right from these project development to giving the recycled water, and then finally finding a financing structure via the water credit story and making it free for my clients. So if I go to a society and tell guys, just give me your sewage, I'm going to give you free treated water every single day for your lifetime, I think that would be the success for me in a long way.